Getting a slight feedback from.
I think it's yours, Alex.
Oh, whoops.
All right, we're up, and I'll open the room.
Great.
And we'll just wait still a little bit. Usually people join either YouTube or the event right at the last minute.
Awesome. So yeah, maybe we'll give it 1 or 2 more minutes for people to join.
Cool. Do you want to share your screen, Alex?
Great. So maybe we'll just get the presentation started, and I'll put some notes in the chat about where people can leave questions and stuff. Thanks everyone for joining. We've got the team from mStable, Alex and James, here to tell you about building on mStable. And with that, I'll let Alex take it away.
I'm actually going to start. I'm James. I'm co-founder and lead at mStable. And thanks for everyone for joining this session. We're incredibly excited to be here. ETH Global Events. I've been as an attendee over many years, but this is the first time that mStable, as a project, as a protocol, has been able to support an event like this. We all know that everyone kind of wanted to be in DevCon at the moment, but this is the next best thing, I suppose. But yeah, we're really thrilled to support ETH Global and this ETHOnline event, and would be really thrilled to see people build on mStable. And we've obviously created this a prize pool for people who do just that. So today, Alex is going to be speaking predominantly, and he'll be speaking about how exactly you can build on mStable and the kind of cool things that you can do with the V1 protocol that we've built so far. For me, I'm just going to give you a really quick overview of what the project is. We thought it could be helpful to some people, given that mStable is a little new on the block. I mean, quite a few new projects that have come out recently. So we forgive you if you haven't kind of dug your teeth into mStable specifically. So I'm going to give a quick overview of what it is, why we built it, and the kind of market problems that we're seeking to solve. And then Alex is going to dig into the technicals in more detail. So what is mStable? Like most of DeFi, mStable is centered around pooling assets. And what we do is we unite stable coins, and they're lending and swapping into one standard. So mStable creates a liquidity pool for same peg assets. And the reason why we started doing this is because it's become clear over the last few years that assets, and this is kind of the mega bet that we've been making, is that assets are migrating on chain. So recently, this year, the amount of stablecoins on Ethereum have increased 95% to over 12 billion. And the value transfer on Ethereum has surpassed that of Bitcoin in July. So these are amazing statistics. I think we've all seen also recently a lot of wrapped Bitcoin migrating to Ethereum as well. This is a really major theme, and it's created obviously stable coins. How mStable defines stable coins is obviously on one level something that is stable in reference to purchasing power, at least in the short term. And the second thing is that something that is stable in reference to a peg. So we define stable coins as both US, kind of something like a US dollar, but also something like Bitcoin if it's stable to that peg. And mStable creates a liquidity pool for those stable coins. And we can then build a whole bunch of infrastructure around that liquidity pool. And then other people can also build on top of that, which Alex will be getting into. Why are we doing this? Well, there are three major problems that we were solving. One is fragmentation. This explosion of assets that I spoke about in the previous slide has also led to a huge fragmentation of same peg assets. Many issuers, many projects are creating US dollar equivalents, and that fragments liquidity. It's really bad for user experience. So we solve that by creating a swap product to create zero slippage, hyper efficient swaps between same peg assets. So designing a liquidity pool specifically for swapping those same peg assets. We also, relatively uniquely, have an LP token that is also a liquidity provider token. There's also a stable coin in its own right. And in our case, that's called MUSD. When you deposit into the MUSD pool, you get an MUSD stable coin. It's a stable coin that's worth $1, and it's redeemable 1-to-1 for the US dollar stable coins in that pool. The same will happen for MBTC. So we simultaneously, mStable simultaneously solves this fragmentation problem by enabling really efficient trading between same peg assets and also creating a unifying asset for that. We also try and make the capital more efficient, and our smart contracts programmatically lend out all assets that are deposited onto integrated lending platforms, currently Aave and Compound. Simultaneously, all of the swaps are earning fees. So if you hold MUSD, you can access the MUSD native savings rate, and that savings rate is generally outsized for three reasons. One, because all the capital is being lent out. Two, because of the swap fees, and three, because we've leveraged it in the sense that if you don't put your MUSD into the savings account, then you don't get the savings rate. So people who do get a leveraged savings account. So we've been able to create a better yield. And the third thing is risk and insurance. If you hold one stable coin, that has a whole heap of concentrated risk. mStable diversifies risk amongst a whole bunch of issuers and also seeks to insure against it with our token Meta. That hasn't been implemented yet, but it will be proposed to the community at some point in the future. So that's kind of a high level on the problems and what we're doing. If we just zoom out a little bit, this is the product line that we've been working on. So we released Earn, which is a yield farming product. We were one of the first yield farming initiatives back in June, I think. And Meta is emitted to people who contribute to mStable asset liquidity. We're moving to create a more efficient AMM and also reduce the gas later in the year, adding MBTC, and also wanting to create a composable save, so tokenizing that savings account in an interesting and novel way. In terms of Meta, we're really pushing decentralized governance, and ultimately recollateralization is something we'll propose later. So that's a really big kind of high level on mStable. Again, really excited to see what people come up with, and I'll pass it on to Alex now to dive deeper on the technical sides.
Cheers, James. Can you hear me all right? Yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, good. Cool, so I'm just gonna whiz through like mStable's core functionality, why you might want to build on mStable, and then give you some docs and then run through a demo on making something simple and getting it running. So as Jim said, like we have our M assets represent a basket of underlying stable coins. So the first of which, MUSD, you deposit USDC, DAI, USDT or USDC, and you receive a corresponding amount of MUSD back. So that's obviously one-to-one, and it relies on these baskets being under their maximum weight. So similar with swapping, any of the underlying can be swapped one-to-one with a small fee, providing the asset that's swapped in does not exceed its maximum weight. Redemption, opposite of minting, you choose which basket you would like to withdraw from the system, and then to withdraw that basket, you burn the corresponding amount of MUSD. So when I say basket, I'm referring to a basket asset, which is USDC DAI, Tether, or USDC. The fourth sort of core function here is save. So that's when you deposit MUSD into the savings contract to earn the native yield. You can withdraw that at any time to realize the gains. So the interest is actually scraped from the MUSD contract on the deposit into save, and then distributed to the existing savers, to the benefit of the existing savers. So, so yeah, to realize that increase in savings balance, there needs to be a subsequent deposit following your deposit. Okay, so why would you might build on mStable? mStable provides a robust base layer collateral assets, with the goal being to act as this sort of safe base layer for the DeFi infrastructure that's being built. There's a simplified native yield generation. So just by depositing MUSD into a no risk savings contract, you can get that native yield. It provides a unique source of arbitrage for swapping. So it's really the only place where the one-to-one swaps are implemented. And it abstracts and consolidates the sort of USD stablecoin layer. So theoretically, this could be expanded to sort of capitalize and consolidate a lot of the market. So what is in scope for hacking? Basically anything that builds on top of or extends the mStable protocol, or sort of at the very least utilizes mStable assets to their potential. Yeah, so what might that look like? A no-loss lottery, for example, like Pull Together, where the interest is the interest from the deposits are collected and then awarded in a sort of lottery fashion. A derivative using mStable Save or MUSD, for example, like the Chai token. I'm using well-known examples here, but these are things that can be accomplished. Utilizing mint and swap as part of a trading bot. It's a simple one. A derivative that utilizes assets is the settlement layer. So by this, I mean like capitalizing on the fragmentation solution that MUSD is built to provide, like using MUSD as a safe settlement layer and performing actions on top of it. Generally speaking, utilizing MUSD or MTA, either utilizing their value or providing utility to them. For example, using MUSD to collateralize synthetic instruments. What's not in the scope is creating new official assets, for example, like mEuro. But by all means, go for it and create a rationale. It's just that given that the asset will be eventually collateralized further by the meta token, it's more of a governance thing. So there are obviously some other functions that could be built on top of staking and earning, but these sort of address the sort of core functions of the system. I think it's worth mentioning that like the core prize is for applications built on top of mStable, like these no-loss lotteries, for example. But there will be 2 smaller prizes of 500 MUSD each, just for applications that utilize MUSD or MTA in the application. So, so yeah, we're excited about that. And here's where you get the documentation. So we put a bit of work into the Git book here, and there are some good examples about how to get set up, and like lists of the testnet apps. So we've got running testnets on Ropsten and Kovan, and they've both got like app endpoints and subgraph endpoints and deployed addresses. So yeah, just check it out on the docs. And then we've built, or we've sort of wrapped some of the core stuff into node packages. So the protocol, the contracts are there, and I'll show you how to use that in a second. And then we have built a sort of basic mStable JS library just to grab and parse the data to use. So this is the main stuff. We've also written a Medium post with a bit more meat on the prizes distribution. I guess that'll be on the ETH global website, and you can always jump into the Discord if you need to chat about anything. So I'm going to run through an example. So what I think would be good to build is a contract that wraps save and allows users to pull together or sort of stake a gift and then collect the interest, which would then be distributed to a beneficiary. So this allows us to like collect the crowdsource interest through the savings contract and then distribute it. So what I'm going to do is just whip up contracts. And well, first I'll add the latest node package. So it should be version 1.2.1 coming through. And then I can import the interfaces from oops. So I'm just importing the core contracts right now. I've got the master interface, the savings contract interface, and an mStable helper interface to sort of provide some helper utilities around the core functions. So how do I write constructors again? Okay, so we want to have a few core functions. Staking a gift, and we will where we will like stake the gift and have it tracked there. We will have a withdraw gift.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
We just got a question on YouTube. Could we increase the size of your font?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Thank you.
How is this? Looks.
This person's on
Oops,
mobile,
it
so
is.
might need a little bit bigger.
Let's see what I can do.
Thank you.
All right. So got three core functions here: staking the gift, withdrawing the gift, and collecting the interest. So I'm probably going to need to choose what I'm staking, which is the MUSD contract. just import that from need MUSD, save, and we'll import the helper here too. So okay, now we've got our variables set up. So staking the gift, what should happen here? We should be transferring from the sender, depositing to the save, and then tracking the gifts. So let me just have to do safe user opens up on safety library. So I'm going to transfer the MUSD from the sender to the contract, and then I will deposit into save. So save.deposit savings, and then deposit the amount. And this is all it takes to deposit into the savings contract. But actually, it'll need approval to send the MUSD. So it's sort of a bit risky to have these safe approvals left open all over the place. But I think, given that the save contract is trusted, it's okay. So we've deposited into save. We now need to track the user stakes and the total stake. So by track these gifts. Okay, so we are staking gift and we're tracking the amount. So if a user wanted to then withdraw his gift from the contract, we would want to check that he has balance, reduce the storage, and then retrieve from save. So I'm just gonna copy this over down at something I made earlier. So withdrawing from save here, when we call the savings contract redeem, it expects a unit in terms of savings credits. So we can use the helper here to just convert the MUSD amount back into savings credits and then call redeem. Calling save.redeem here will just simply redeem this amount of credits from the caller, which is this contract, and then return MUSD back to this contract. So if the user wants to if the user wants to withdraw this, we need to send it off. So to the sender. Okay, so we've now built the function to withdraw the user's gift from the savings contract, and now to add the gamification and to actually collect this interest from the gifted party, we want to simply check the we want to check how much interest has been generated and credited to this account. So we can get the current savings balance by calling get save balance on the helper and passing this address. Then we figure out how much interest has been collected since the deposits were made. So say current balance minus the total that's been gifted, and then to send this off to the beneficiary, we can convert it into credits and simply transfer it. We need to add the beneficiary first. So I'm just going to make this an owned contract, and then add transfer ownership. Okay, so what we've quickly whipped up here is a contract that allows people to stake a gift and then credit the interest of that gift to a beneficiary that's been specified when the contract was created. So hopefully this should compile. Oh. Oops. Okay, so let's just go ahead and deploy this and get it running so we can verify that it is doing what it says it's doing. So I'm just going to jump quickly into Remix and deploy this. So if you don't know what Remix is, it's a pretty nice tool to just quickly get the contract out and deployed without having to deal with private keys and Infura and Builder and that sort of stuff. So yeah, so to deploy this contract, I need the MUSD address, I need the save address, I need the helper address, and I need to specify beneficiary. So as I mentioned earlier, the addresses are all in the Git book here. Got the mainnet, the Ropsten, and the Kovan. So I'm just going to grab the Ropsten deployment for the savings contract, and the helper, and I'm going to specify myself as the beneficiary. So okay. Okay, so that contract is hopefully going to deploy, and then we should be able to interface with it. So there's actually a really nice tool from Adrian Lee here, ETH95, just to quickly get a UI for any Ethereum dApp. So all we need for that is to specify the build folder for the contracts, and then should, yeah, host something on localhost. Oh, so the contract has been deployed here. Let's just check it out. Okay, so yep, that looks like it's gone okay. And let's have a look at the ETH95. So I've got access to my pool with mStable. And what I can do is first give the pool with mStable the permission to spend the assets on my behalf. So I'm going to call the MUSD contract and just give the gifting contract permission to spend my my MUSD. So I'll mark the spender here and just give it a few way of allowance. And I'll also do that for a second account so that we can see things in action here. Okay, so that should be approving. Then we should be able to call state gift here once this is approved. Are there any questions in the chat I can answer in the meantime while these transactions are processing?
None from YouTube.
Oh.
It looks like we're all good here too.
All good. Well, it looks like those have gone through, so. We made a mistake in our stick gift. It's just I think we're not connected here. Here we go. Okay, so this is me staking like 1/1,000,000th of an MUSD to the pool with mStable contract. So as soon as I deposit this, it's going to go into the MUSD contract and collect the interest that's been accruing there and distribute it to the benefit of the existing savers in the save contract. So after I deposit, then the interest will start being credited to the gift pool with mStable. At the mercy of the Robson network here.
We've got a question on YouTube if now's a good time.
Sure, yep.
Do the save mStable implementations on the testnets produce incremental interest?
Yes, they do, yeah. So, well, as I said, it happens with that. The interest is distributed every time a deposit is made into save. So if you want to simulate some activity, a good idea might be to do some swaps and to generate some fees, and then you would see that interest realized the next time you deposit. There should be a decent amount being accrued anyway because there's such a large quantity of assets. I think there's like 4 million assets lent out on Aave and Compound, so it should be accruing a steady amount. I think we'll see here in a second just how much has been accrued. So the first gift was deposited and staked, and now I am gifting a second one, at which point the interest will be credited to the benefit of the first staker, basically. So hopefully when we withdraw the gift at the end here, we'll have some dust that gets credited to the beneficiary. I can actually call that directly.
Another question from YouTube is any way to know where the yield came from? Just curious. From Juan.
I mean, you could tell off chain, yeah, sure. You can track the transactions that have happened and see how much has been coming from swap versus basically you would need to find the total and then deduce how much came from swap, and then you would be able to tell how much came from the lending protocols. On chain, yeah, I think it's difficult, but off chain you could definitely find out. Okay, so yeah, we've just withdrawn the interest to the beneficiary here, and there was sort of 306 base units of MUSD that were credited. So we've successfully harvested yield for as a gift to a beneficiary, which I think is quite a neat application, although possibly not economically practical on mainnet. But regardless, the concept is nice. So so yeah, just to summarize, we came in here, we added the mStable protocol as a package, we imported the core contracts, and then we wrapped the staking contract and collected the interest that we generated. So I'll go ahead and put this online on our GitHub and link it on the our Medium post as well. Yeah, and then all other information is kind of in the docs. So that's all I wanted to touch on today. But yeah, I'm happy to field some more questions if anyone's got any.
We're good on the YouTube stream, but perhaps we could, if any of you in this Zoom call want to post questions, you are free to unmute yourselves and pose them directly to James and Alex. So if you have a question, jump in. Sounds like the presentation really landed. Oh, one just came in from YouTube. Oh, no, it's a guy saying that he meant off-chain, so that's all good. And then someone saying that they should build an mStable vault. Yes, you should.
You should build a what, sorry?
An mStable vault.
mStable wallet. Okay.
Vault. Sorry, that's my mispronunciation. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, someone asked plans to add new protocols. You mean someone's asked, are there plans to add new protocols? I assume that means lending protocols. And there we have a few more questions in the Zoom chat as well. The answer is yes. And they'll all go through the community through our recently launched snapshot page, where you can stake. Well, you just have to stake meta, and then you can vote with your stake meta. So there'll be proposals to add new lending platforms at some point. Currently, we're connected to Aave and Compound. Yeah, cool. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Awesome.
And
So where's the best place to reach you guys? On the Discord channel? And then by your Git book, I guess people could access that.
Yeah, we're 24/7 available on our Discord channel. Just pop in, just whatever you want to talk about. It's all good. But yeah, someone will be online in there, and yeah, we're more than happy to field questions. We're also in the ETH Global Discord channel, so yeah.
Awesome.
For Ethereum hackers.
Thank you so much, you guys. Really exciting stuff.
thanks, guys. Appreciate your
Cool.
time.
Cheers.
See you
Thanks.
soon.
See ya.